So by doing this, we're gonna double the yield. This ought to be shocking. I have the key to unlock your soil's power. And I'm going to show you how to turn on the switch, the Earth's natural switch, using only two metals, but putting them in the earth and turning on the switch. Anybody can get these, but it's knowing how to use them. Copper and zinc. Let's get electrified. Some growers maybe never heard of this, and maybe it's because they don't want you to know about this. I'm talking about big agriculture. You know, big ag. They don't want you to know about this. We're going to be turning on the dirt into a living battery, and it's going to supercharge, and I mean supercharge, and we have proof, the roots development. So I want to show you the setup here, how to put the copper and zinc. And Shell Bell has already done that. So let's use the one that we have not done the switch with, because the switch is the most important, how to turn it on. So let's show them how we did it. Okay, what Shell Bell did is she sunk the copper that I hold here, and she sunk it 6 inches into the ground at a nice depth. And she's about how many inches from the plant?
6 inches.
6 inches. So on the other side then, she got the zinc. And the way we did the zinc is, I'll show you, I put the strips onto this galvanized stake where it's coated with zinc. But we wanted to increase the power, but not too much, because you don't want to do harm, because you're really turning on a switch here. So we did this on the opposite 6 inches, as you can tell, from the base of the plant. So now what's going to happen, it's going to trigger this root system, and the roots are going to go towards the energy that they're feeling, the current energy that the copper is giving out and the energy that the zinc is getting out. But we want to make sure that we're turning that on. A lot of people just plant that. Now, eventually what will happen, you know what, I'll let you know what eventually happens, but as you can see on the zinc galvanized stake, can you see the wrapping on the top that we wrapped that little zinc strip?
Okay, yep, right there.
So this is not about any kind of mystical nonsense. This is about unlocking the Earth's natural pantry, the pantry that contains the minerals, the vitamins that are going to make the plants thrive. So these are the strips I'm telling you about. So I just take these, you know, they're just regular strips, and they're kind of like, it feels like tin foil, but they're zinc strips. And I wanted to increase, and so what I did is I just kind of took them and just wrapped it around the top, and then I put one on the bottom. So I'm not going to really get into it because, but you can do that. And then Shell Bell, like I said, sunk that into the earth. So we're always talking about direction and having no handles on the compass. But this time we're going to use the compass, because making sure that the copper wire antenna is facing the right atmosphere, because we're pulling the atmosphere and it wants to face north, towards the North Pole, because that's how the magnetic field that we're hoping to bring down. Because if you do it the other way, you're not going to get the same results. You want to be at least at like an 0.5 to a 1 on the multimeter, and that's what we're going to show you, to show exactly what this is doing and how we're going to have electric. I want you, when you have this, I want the locusts to sound like UFOs. I want the dinosaurs. I want the birds. I want the birds to sound like dinosaurs. I also want the wind to whisper to you. That's what electrified plants give you. Facing the magnet north is a big thing. The copper wire. Got to face it north or it's not going to work. You're not going to get the pull that you're looking for. You know, we're being pulled all the time in every direction. Make sure you have the right direction that you're going. And the direction that you find yourself in is this one right now. Once we turn the key and open up the pantry, it's going to unlock the potassium, the phosphates, the calcium that's been underground, and it's so deep. And we're also going to talk about a root, but that'll be a different video. Let's just stay on track here. The earth has to be moist to conduct the power. So if your earth is not moist, and see, that's the advantage of living by the lake. There's always a wetness in the atmosphere, kind of like up in Northern California, because those giant redwoods are drinking water all the time, pulling moisture in from the water to the land. All right, this is where it gets a little interesting and a little scary. Sometimes I feel like Wile E. Coyote with the Acme detonator, because now I'm going to show you how to turn the switch on. But remember, the one thing Wile E. Coyote, even though he got flattened, even though he got blown up, he always got back up, and he was resilient. And that's what I think where we're at. That's how I think of you. So now comes the key, how to activate. We got the copper wire in, we got the zinc in, we got the zinc strips. Look at the birds are a little bit worried about what's going on, but this is the switch. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect both of these to the zinc and to the copper, and it's going to turn on underground and above and take all that electricity to get these roots really moving and increase the plant's production. That's what we're looking to do, and it's going to open up different cannabinoids, different terpenes that a lot of them don't even experience from Earth's natural process. That's why it's so much better than what they have at these dispensaries or whatever they're, you know, where they're selling, because they're reaching their full potential. And now we're going to turn on energy from the Earth's natural resource. You know, maybe I'll be running my house or something pretty soon with all this. There was a big lightning storm, so enjoy that. Shell Bell will put that in. There was a big lightning storm, and the copper was just bringing it down. So let's go put these on. I told you we would bring the atmosphere down to the ground, and we're going to electrify. Can you feel it? The atmosphere? In an uncontrollable atmosphere like this. How do you control it? Well, I'll show you. Visually, I'm not able to do it, so Shell Bell is going to connect both wires, one to the copper, and she's going to hook it and twist it to make sure that it's secured, and then the zinc. So what that's going to do is turn on the power. But here is the big kicker. This is where it gets really interesting. After the plant reaches the copper, its roots, and after the plant's roots reach the zinc, that's about a 12-inch base there. Once it hits that, we will remove the wire, and the cannabis will now become the conductor of the electricity, and it will reach, and it'll go right through the top of the plant up to the atmosphere, bringing it back down. The moon will be pulling it. It's going to be having so many different power sources, and that's when you'll hear the grass cutters become the beehives. So now here we're going to see. Now if we can get an 0.5 reading, this is a, and by the way, it didn't blow up, and it looks like your hair stood up a little bit, so it wasn't too shocking.
Right.
But you can feel the energy when you're doing that if you're really tuned in, because right now I can feel it just being in this field right now, not only with the earthworms. They're probably experiencing something, because sometimes you got to be careful with the copper with the earthworms, but right now they're experiencing a whole different kind of atmosphere in all their rototilling and stuff. So now we're going to turn on, what is this called?
Multimeter?
The multimeter. And Shelbel is going to show, because I won't be able to see, but we want about a 0.5 to 1 to about 1.5 electricity going through DC, AC, DC, right?
DC, yep. And you want
All
the
right,
DC.
Angus Young. Hey, by the way, your homework is to get into Donovan, because there's a lot of music that none of you have heard, and I want you guys to expose yourself to it. So I'm asking you to do me that favor. Start getting into Donovan, the music Donovan. You can check it out on, I don't know what devices you guys have. I have the Alexa device. Here we go. You ready, Shelbel? Mm-hmm. All right. This is the big test here. This will show. Where do you want to put this on the ground? So you can show it. So what you're going to do is connect the. Are they color coordinated or something?
You have a red one and a black one.
Well, which one goes to which? That's the key here.
That's the key.
Yeah.
We do the
I think the
red one to the copper.
The red goes to the copper, and the black goes to the zinc.
Yeah.
And let's see what kind of reading. And then we'll vice versa. We'll see what it shows. All right. So she's putting it on.
DC.
And you can get this device anywhere anywhere sold and stuff. I think we paid like $15 for it. All right, so she is placing them, the red one on the copper, the black one on the zinc, and the reading says, drum roll please, Shelbel. All right, so she's got the red onto the copper and the black touching the zinc. And we're gonna get a reading now on the meter reader.
Yep, the multimeter.
Multimeter. What is it at?
It can 2.5. It keeps going. There's just so much. It's 2.5 or 2,500.
So it's more than 0.5 and 1. We're at a solid 2. I told you we're not messing around with this. Has it hit a 3? Wow. So I mean, you can tell that the electric current is passing through. We'll monitor how much the yield is, but I always say it's in the proof, and that's why you're here, to watch how this comes out and stuff. So let me know if you've ever used this method. This can be used on any kind of vegetables, any kind of fruit trees. This is not new technology. This is something they took away from us because they didn't want us to know to increase the yields and stuff. They wanted to sell their fertilizers and all their, sulfurs and whatever else they have in bottles and bags. So we're turning on Earth's natural switch. And like I said, once the roots get a little bit bigger, they'll be touching the zinc and copper, and that's when we'll remove the copper, and the plant itself becomes the conductor of electricity, and it lights up like a Christmas tree. If this feels right to you, if this feels good, I don't have to beg. I should not have to. All right? So make sure you guys leave a comment. I have a big idea coming up, and it's about sharing something with all of you, but one of you will be the holder of it. And it'll be kind of a fun little contest. So make sure if you like this, if this helped you, if you think I should be doing something different, let me know, Let me know if you've ever tried this and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. We'll monitor it. We'll watch the growth. You know what I always say? From the heart. We're here, the Cosmic Caterpillars, brought on this platform, and to reach those who are out there. So I ask you one thing. Can you feel this?